Hi Year 2, how are you? Are you excited for another Power Maths lesson? This is lesson 3 of the 4 in this block, all about position and direction. But as always, we're going to begin with our flashback 4. So have you got a piece of paper and a pencil ready? If you haven't, pause the video now and go and get one. Let's have a look. Okay then Year 2, here's your flashback 4. Pause the video now while you answer these questions. Are you ready for the answers? So, as you can see, the horse has moved 2 squares backwards. Now, there are various objects that could be larger than 10. Half of 16 is, of course, 8. Remember, we're splitting the 16 objects into 2 groups to make a half. And 2 lots of 7 is, of course, 14. So today, we're going to be describing movement and turns. So you'll discover the thing that you've got to think about before we start the lesson is, can you help that pirate reach the treasure safely? You need to write some instructions to guide him to the treasure. As you can see, the treasure's there. Now, when it says safely, I bet it does not want you to go near this scary serpent up here. And Felix here is just reminding you of some of the words that you can use. Forwards, backwards, clockwise, anti-clockwise, and quarter turn. Then B says, once you've reached the treasure, can you move forward 1, a quarter turn anti-clockwise, and forward 2? Where's your pirate now? Now, the things that I want you to consider to be successful in this are, which way is the pirate facing? If he moves forward, which way does he need to go? And also, is there more than one answer to part A? Pause the video now and answer these questions. So, like I said, today we're learning to describe movement and turns. Now, the way that you're going to be successful is you're going to be able to combine rotating your person round with moving forwards and backwards. And you're going to be able to move characters to different places. Now, before I go through the Discover with you, one thing that is really crucial is if at any point you are struggling with this, get out your cuddly toys, get out your Barbie dolls or your Paw Patrol characters, whatever you've got at home, and have a go at moving those around your house. See if you can describe how your toy moves around your living room, for example, or around your bedroom. How do you have to move it to avoid certain obstacles like your bed or the sofa? Doing this practically will really help you make sense of the problems that you're going to encounter today. So now, of course, the captain, if he moved forward 2, he would end up next to the treasure, and then he would need to do a quarter turn clockwise and then forwards 1. So for B, once he's on the treasure, he needs to go forwards 1, a quarter turn anti-clockwise and forwards 2, and he ends up right there. Now, the things to consider at this point are these routes the same as your own? It doesn't matter if you got a different route, as long as you got there. The important thing to focus on is that for the captain to go forwards, you're following the direction of his hat. So as long as you have done that, then that is perfectly okay. The next question says, what's the longest route you can make? Now, that's a bit of a challenge. What's the longest route you can make the captain travel to get the treasure? And then finally, what's the quickest way back to the pirate's original position? So once you're up here, what's the quickest way back to the pirate's original position, which was down here? Now, of course, if forwards is following the direction of the pirate's hat, so forwards was the captain going up here, to travel down here, he must go That's right, he must go backwards, or you need to turn him around to go forwards. Pause the video now and answer these questions. So I'm going to have a go at doing question 1. So put the sentences in the correct order to show how the pirate can get to the treasure chest. Used first, second and third. Now, as I'm looking at this, I'm remembering that I have got to follow the position of the pirate's hat. So if we almost think of the pirate's hat like an arrow. So I know if he goes forward 2 spaces, he's going to end up here, and that's too far. If we turn him first, so he's facing this way, and then he's got to go forward, that again isn't going to work. So I know that the correct answer first is go forwards 1 space. Once that has happened, my pirate is going to turn up here. So which one next? Well, if he goes forward 2 spaces from here, that's wrong. He's going to have passed the treasure. So I know that the next one is make a quarter turn anti-clockwise. So then my pirate will still be in this box, but his hat will be pointing towards the treasure chest. So finally, he has to go forward 2 spaces and he will reach the treasure. Could you have a go with question 2 at completing the sentences to describe how the pirate can get to the treasure chest? Use these sentences to help scaffold what you want to say. So you've got to fill in the blank spaces on these sentences to get the pirate to the treasure. Now, the things that I'd like you to consider are there alternate routes for question 1 and question 2? So we know that we've followed the guidance here to get the pirate to the treasure chest, but is there a different way? For question 2, what would happen if you followed these instructions in a different order? Would the pirate still get to the treasure? And finally, like I've mentioned, if you're finding it tricky, get your toys out and maybe have a go at drawing this grid on a piece of paper and moving your toy around to reach the treasure. Pause the video now and have a go at these questions. And here's your challenge question. So if the pirate follows the instructions, where will he be? Okay, so remember, as I've said, you're following the direction of the pirate's hat almost like it's an arrow. Now, the things that you need to consider are, what's the fastest route to the boat? So once you've done the challenge, what's the fastest route to the boat? What's the fastest route to the treasure and the fastest route to the cannon? Could you describe a route to all 3 objects? Could you make it into a story? Pause the video now and have a go. Here are your answers. So, of course, I'd already said that I'd already answered question 1 for you. However, the answers to question 2 and question 3 are here. Now it's time for you to move on to your practice book. If you haven't been able to collect it from school, please don't worry, I can send you across some digital copies. Also, if after you've done the practice book, you'd like a little bit more work, there are some challenge questions at the end of this video. Pause the video now and move on to this chapter in your textbook. Now, here are your challenge questions. So the first one says, true or false? If the boy cycles 2 spaces forward and 1 to the left, he will land on the star. Is that correct? Are you ready to move on? It says false. So if you look at the direction that the boy is facing, then you follow the instructions. So if the boy is going to go forwards, he's going to end up here. Okay, so that is obviously not going there. So look at where the boy is facing. If he goes forward, he's almost going to go down the paper. And finally, Rosie and Dexter are answering a question. Rosie says, I know where the sheep is now. And Dexter says, it is impossible to answer this. Who do you agree with? Talk about it with your partner. One thing I'm going to ask you is look at the sheep. Do you know which way the sheep is facing? Well done on another fantastic maths lesson. You're doing so well, and I'm super proud of all of your hard work. Don't forget that in a Maths Mastery programme, there are some really challenging questions that need you to think about them. One thing that I always used to tell A class is that in these lessons, you don't just know the answer really quickly. You have to make your brain work. But the fabulous thing about that is that that's what helps you learn. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow for another maths lesson, and it will be the final one in our position and direction unit. But for now, have a lovely day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.